As a reminder, my name is Lisa Edwards. I am the CEO of the Exclusive Career Coach, and my practice focuses on helping high achievers at the mid to upper level, those who really want to, if not next in their career, eventually make it into the C-suite. So maybe they're still a few spots away, but they want that executive role and they want to position themselves for that. And so this podcast focuses on the leadership competencies, the emotional intelligence competencies, the executive presence competencies that one needs to get to that level. And my other podcast, The Exclusive Career Coach, focuses on the job search and things around interviewing, resume writing, networking for the job, those kinds of things. My on my other podcast, The Exclusive Career Coach, last week's episode 364 was on the mental, physical, social, and spiritual aspects of a job search. And I took it far below the surface of eat well, exercise, blah, blah, the things that we all know, whether we do them or not. And I really talked about you as the asset in your job search, and then looking at your job search as asset management. How do you manage this asset known as you so that the value of that asset either maintains its value or, dare I say, increases in value when you are in the job search? All right, so this week we're going to cover the new rules of email. And I got this content. Hey, I'm a card carrying member, quite literally, of the AARP. And this came from the AARP magazine a few months ago. And I thought it was really good content. So I'm really kind of cutting and pasting with some stories of my own. And as I said, I thought this was a nice kind of soft pitch for the end of the year, not have to think too hard. So this article starts with a common email opener and why it's a bad idea. And the opener is, I hope this finds you well. And I have to admit, super guilty on this one. Hope you're great. And I have a family member who always starts that way. And so you've been listening to my podcast, you know that I haven't been well a lot this year. I've just had surgery. And so it's this sense of like, well, they don't really want to know how I am. They just want me to be good and let's move on to what they need from me. And it can feel really disconnected. So I've got four great email openers and why they work from this article. So the first one is, I'm looking forward to working with you. So this is a real straightforward opening for a business collaboration. So it could be, I'm so excited you are on board with whatever it is. I'm so glad that you're going to be joining whatever it is. So it's that real straightforward, you know, setting the tone in whatever the business collaboration is. So I'm looking forward to working with you. Another one is, I received your contact information from, and name the mutual acquaintance. So rather than saying someone, like if I got that, I received your contact information from someone I know well, I'd be like, yeah, did you really? Because you can't even mention their name. So when you can say the name of someone, this puts your mutual contact's name right up front so the recipient won't think that it's spam. And it's even better if you can then contextualize why the mutual acquaintance mentioned the recipient. That was a mouthful, wasn't it? Let me try again. Even better if you are able to then contextualize why the mutual acquaintance mentioned the recipient. So, for example, I received your contact information from Sue Smith. She thought you might be able to help me with. She thought you might be a fount of information about that kind of thing. So I received your contact information from someone. That's another great email opener. Here's a third one. I follow you on LinkedIn and was intrigued by your latest post on. I actually get this one fairly frequently. They end up wanting to sell me stuff, but it can flatter the recipient and kind of uses those specifics. So what you don't want to do is say, I follow you on LinkedIn and was intrigued by your latest post, period, on how to write better emails. And I want to just kind of put a plug in here. I do get a lot of sales calls. I get people are trying to sell me things that, they want to sell me resume write. Like I'm a resume writer. Hello. They want to sell me career coaching. Hello. Right. one of the things that's so important in any kind of communication, so whether you are trying to sell yourself as a potential employee, a potential contractor, vendor, whatever it is, it's so important to know, like, and trust someone before you buy from them. And so getting right into trying to sell them something, which is what happens to me on the daily, is probably not going to work for you. Think of this as more of a long-term relationship building. And if what you're wanting to do on LinkedIn is, have them, you would love to do an informational interview with this person and hoping they would tell you about their industry, then, you were intrigued by their post, and then when they accept your email or accept your connection request, then you could say, hey, here's what I was hoping you could help me with. So I follow you on LinkedIn and was intrigued by your latest post on whatever it was. And then the last one is, it's wonderful to meet another, insert a descriptive term that clarifies your bond. So it could be the school you attended, former workplaces, it could be hobbies or passions. When I write my clients' LinkedIn profiles in the About section, the last sentence or two is almost always about what they like to do outside of work. And clients have told me over the years that oftentimes that's the thing that is commented on when someone reaches out to them. Love to meet another horse lover. Love to meet another, I don't know, skier, something like that. So it's wonderful to meet another, whatever it is, and that can really get their attention as well. Next, I want to give you some common openers to avoid. I've been guilty of maybe, I don't know, several of these. I don't know if it's been all of them, but I think we've all been guilty of them at one time or another. So the first one is, it's nice to meet you, kind of in quote, meet you virtually. It's not funny. It conveys a lack of professionalism. It's just kind of wishy-washy. It doesn't get to the point. It's weak. It's nice to meet you virtually. Blah. The next one is, I hope you don't mind me reaching out to you directly. This is really passive. You're minimizing what you're going to ask them for or whatever is going to follow in your email to them. I hope you don't mind me reaching out to you directly. It doesn't command attention or respect. The next one is, I'd like to offer my services. This is a copy and paste kind of thing. It reads very generic. There's no life to it. And again, if this is someone new that you're reaching out to and you are immediately trying to sell them something, even if it doesn't cost them anything, even if you're like offering them my services, you want to, I don't know, you want to be a free intern. It's still, they don't know, like, and trust you yet. And then the last one is, I saw you at whatever location and knew I had to reach out. I saw you at the conference. I knew I had to reach out. This kind of can be a little stalkery, especially if it's a male reaching out to a woman. If you can include why you are reaching out. So I saw you at the conference, give the specific conference. And I wanted to reach out because I was really intrigued by your uh, presentation topic. Da, 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 right? Whatever it is, but you need a little bit more information there than I saw you at, the coffee shop and I knew I had to reach out, because that sounds like either stalkery or like I'm going to hit on you. It's just icky. I want to come back around to what I've said a couple of times here. When you are trying to sell something, and that includes selling yourself. I want to sell myself as someone you will want to be connected with. I want to sell myself as someone that you would want to have a meaningful conversation with. I want to sell myself as someone that you will eventually be willing to connect with someone who is in your network. Whatever it is, they have to know, like, and trust you first. So, and this is the way that I treat a lot of aspects of the job search, but especially when we're talking about reaching out to people that we don't yet know on LinkedIn, treat it like a dating cycle, right? So many people try to get to, dare I say, third base or home base in that initial email before I've ever accepted their connection. And I've actually stopped in most cases not accepting those connections because I I know that all they're in it for is that transaction. They want my business rather than any kind of a relationship. And I've got plenty of connections. I don't need any more from people like that. So take your time with it. And by all means, if you're going to be reaching out to a lot of folks on LinkedIn for any of the reasons I've mentioned, it's okay to have a template that you work from and then you fill in the specifics so that you don't feel like you're having to, start over again every time you write an email to someone. And it's also going to save you time. So I hope that these suggestions have given you some food for thought about how you can improve your email correspondence, whether this is reaching out to someone on LinkedIn, sending an email to someone outside of social media, whatever the case may be. And since I will not see you on this podcast again in 2025, I wish you, for those of you who are celebrating the holidays in December, I wish you the happiest of holidays. I hope you have wonderful time with family and friends and a little bit of time to reflect on the year that was and the year that will be and set some intentions for 2026. I know that's what I'm going to be doing quite a bit of. I'll be back on my other podcast, The Exclusive Career Coach, next week for the final episode of that podcast for 2025. And then I'm going to take 2 or 3 weeks off. I forget how it shakes out. But with the holiday, Christmas and New Year's falling on a Thursday, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off anyway. So I will see you on this podcast in the new year. Hope to see you next week over on the other channel. And take care. Have a great holiday.